Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can scrape unlimited leads using n8n so that you can create your targeted outreach list without spending a single dollar on lead gen tools. And with that being said, let's go straight into the automation. This is the automation we're going to be building. And while we run it to show you the quick demo of how it works, let me also give you some business context behind the automation and why this is helpful. If you run a B2B business, you know that you have already a lot of ways in which you can scrape leads, right? We know LinkedIn, we know Epify scrapers, these are the more traditional, you have Apollo, and so on and so forth. However, specifically for B2B businesses, you also have other ways that are equally effective and free in order to scrape leads. It's just a bit more laborious. These methods are the industry directories, which are basically sites in which business owners and businesses put their data publicly on purpose so that you can reach out to them and you can start collaborating with them. And let me give you an example. I was making this for a client, and this is the Thai Travel Agent Association. So let's run the example that you are an agency owner that's trying to support a hotel to increase their booking because they don't have enough clients and they want to scale up the hotels and so on. A great way that you can use in order to support the hotel in solving their pain point is to use this industry directory, which basically is a place where, as you can see, you have a lot of travel agent right here with all of the details. So email, name, the registration company, the location, and so on. And all of these people want already to work with businesses because the way they make money is that they take generally a fee based on the traffic, let's call it like this, that they route. In this case, they route clients, meaning that they have, I don't know, 3 clients that need a room in Bangkok. And then, we're going super meta with Bangkok. And then they're gonna just send the clients to your hotel, right? So every lead in here is a potential collaboration. And that's a bit of a difference versus the Apollo scraping and etc. These are warmer leads because they already did the effort of putting their data information here so that you can reach out to them. And as you can see, here you have thousands of leads. And you have multiple pages. So what your automation is gonna do to make it simple is that it's gonna go through all of the pages and then it's gonna scrape the data of all of these leads and then add them eventually in a Google Sheet. Now, let's go back to our automation. This automation stopped. As you could see, it scraped 32 pages, which is exactly the number that we just saw before. And we got more than 1,000 leads into the Excel spreadsheet. And if I go right here, I'm going to see that I have all the thousands and thousands of email that I was looking for, right? And we can go on forever. Great. So this is exactly why this is important. Every contact is a lead, and this is what we're going to be building now from scratch. So let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is to map the automation from a bird's eye view. And why is this helpful? Because whenever you tackle any big problem, if you can manage to break it down into sub-problems, it becomes much easier and much simpler to, first of all, understand the feasibility and then to tackle and figure out what are the things that needs to be true in order for everything to work properly. I did this quick thing in order to understand how our automation should work. So we should have, of course, a trigger. Then we should have something that scrapes the website. And we need to ensure that we can scrape the website, and then we need to get the emails, right? And we saw that on this page right here, we have 30 plus pages. So the first step that we just want to do is scrape and get all of these, right? The second step will be, hey, okay, I don't have only one page, but I have 30 plus. So I need to be able to have sort of a loop that helps me scrape all of these pages. And the last part is store them into a Google Sheet. Why is this the right order that you should use? Because the first thing that you want to do is understand the feasibility of scraping the website, right? Because you want to understand if the, HTTP method works, if you can scrape the website and etc. And if you want to get the emails and if you can get them. Because you don't want to, build a full-on automation just to find out, I can't really do it. So that's why we start from there. So trigger is going to be, our manual trigger that we have, of course. And then we have an HTTP request that we want to run, and we want to run it on this website right here. Let me go back to n8n, we paste it, and we execute the step. you can already see that we got the output that we were looking for. So the first step is done. Okay. And let me see if I have any way to do it like this. Okay, fantastic. So now, bam, and bam, we can scrape the website. Now, we need to gather the emails. So how do we do that? In n8n, you have a node, which is called the HTML node, that allows you to extract content directly from the HTML. And this is native inside n8n, so this is highly recommended because it's already built in, right? And you don't need to be technical to understand this. Basically here, it tells you, give me the name of the key. So give me the name of the variable that you want to get as output. And we're gonna, type email. And then give me the CSS selector. What is a CSS selector? And by the way, you don't need to know coding to know this or to understand it. It's just on a top level. Let's see what these are. Every website is designed with let's call it a language, which is HTML. And to understand it easily, if you see, HTML is a way in which you can render information, and it's organized into, let's call them folders. Each folder can be opened into subfolders. And as you can see, if I hover my mouse, you will see that different parts of the website are going to be highlighted because there are literally like folders, like containers that inside which there is another container, inside which there is another container until you eventually find what you're looking for, which is the text and so on and so forth, the link and etc. So what we are trying to do now is if we right click into the email and press inspect, we are trying to understand what is the container that contains the email, because that is the CSS selector we are looking for. Now, if we hover, we see that it's inside a span, and we have that the name of this span is obfuscate. So what we are going to do is that we're going to go here, we're going to call span, which is the name of the main folder, and then the class, which is obfuscate. And now I execute. And now what can I see? I can see that I got one email with a bit of numbers right here. And the reason why these numbers happen is that these platforms, generally speaking, and you can see it right here, do not have the email in simple text like they would have, I don't know, you see the name is just one thing and you can get it straight away. But the email, it's like with all of these numbers because these platforms want to prevent people like me, for example, to scrape the website and to get the email automatically and so on and so forth. So we are going to have two things to do right now. Remove these numbers to actually get the email and then get all of the email in the page. So let's start from the second. So how do I get all of the email in the page? I can simply toggle this return array and I get all of the emails in the page. However, and this is the things that we notice immediately. We don't have 30 emails right now, right? We have that in our input, we got a bunch of text, so one item. And in our output, we got, again, one item, again, a bunch of text. So what does it mean? It means that I don't have 30 emails, but I have a big bunch of text that contains all of the emails inside. And you can see it better in any of the forms that you like. However, if I do this with JSON, you can see that I can immediately collapse it. And all of the text inside this is collapsed, right? So let's start dividing it. And we have a fantastic built-in node for this, which is the split out node. And just as an FYI, if you never used it, it's very intuitive because it tells you, even from the shape, that you have one input and then you have more than one output, right? Each of these branches. So now you're going to press it. You're going to drag the field that you want to split out. I want to split out the emails. And now I saw that from one email right here, one item, I get 40 right now, correct? Now, the second thing that we are going to be tackling is, okay, but those emails have a bunch of things that we don't want, right? So let me copy this. And we are now going to do this in many ways. So the spoiler is that we will use a node code because this is something that is not built into n8n. So we are asking n8n to do something specific for us, and that's why we're trying to define a function. However, we don't need to write the function ourselves, and I'm gonna write it with you, with AI, because it's just easier, right? So long as you can articulate what's your issue, you will see that AI is going to help you out quite a lot. So we're going to press this button right here, which is the AI. And we're going to go right here on the top and you're going to press build. And what are we going to say? Let me see if I can dictate. I need your help because the output of the HTML node and therefore the split out node is an email with the following format. My issue is that this email is not the output that I was expecting because the output that I want is, and then I'm just simply gonna copy the whole email right here and remove all of the numbers that we have. So right here, and now we are going to remove also all of this, right? So there you go. Now, we can say this happens because the website has the following HTML. And here I am going to paste the HTML that the website has. Let me do it real quick. Perfect. And now, please help me fix that. Mind you, I didn't say anything related to code node. I started as if I had no knowledge whatsoever. So now I am going to press enter. And what you will notice is that, the most likely scenario is that it will build a code node, maybe called clean email or some stuff like this. But yeah, okay, there you go. But what the automation will do is it will act autonomously. And then at the end, we will receive a simple button that probably you won't be able to see because it may be under my face. Yes. So it's right here. I wonder if I can move my face just for a second. Yes. So if I press now execute workflow, this workflow will execute. And if the workflow is good, then we will get and receive a message that says succeeded. And as you can see now, all of the emails are cleaned and you have something that is ready to use. Okay. Now, if we go back to Excalidraw, now we can also toggle this. So we have achieved the first 3 things. Now what's left for us to do is that we want to scrape now all of the 30 pages. And to do that, we go back to n8n. And because we are now doing more than one, how do you scrape 30 pages? Let's start from the foundations. You need to repeat basically this cycle 30 times. So this gives you already the understanding, and there are many, many ways in which you can do this. I will make something very custom for this website. But the fastest way is to have a loop that repeats every time that I scrape a new page, correct? I am also lucky enough that I see that in the first page, you will see that there is the URL contains p equals 1. And if now I go all the way down to the bottom where there is page number 2, I see that the URL stays the same. Okay, I can zoom in. But what changes is just the number 2 right here. So this means that inside n8n, if I have a way to make this part of my workflow automatic, then I can have an automatic way of scraping all of the pages without involving any AI, right? Because right now, all of this is still free because there is no GPT node, right, in here. This is just code and automation. So what I want to do right now, let me see if my face is again at the right place, and yes, it is to create a code node in JavaScript that basically will allow me to have how many pages? I think we need 32 pages. Yes. So I basically need a code that goes from 1 to 32. And again, we just saw that it's a code node, so that's what we want to do. And so I'm going to add right here a code node. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to ask AI, please get me a code that gives me numbers from 1 to 32. I didn't say anything. I don't know how to code. Let's imagine I don't know anything. I'm just going to execute this and I'm going to ask myself, do I have what I need? And yes, I do. I can see that right now I have numbers that go from 1 to 32. So this is done. And now, as you know, we need a loop because we need to change the number each time that we go through the loop. All of these generally make little to no sense. So let me just now fix it. So we go back to our workflow right here. Sorry for the thing. I don't think I'm going to cut it. And then while we are on the loop, we want to go inside the main workflow, right? And in here, let me run this also. So I will have the number. I will go right here, and instead of having 1, I can simply drag the number, and you see that I get anyway the same output. Okay? Now, I want this to continue repeating up until we are fully out of the loop. Now, let me just for the sake of the exercise limit the thing that I want to do. And the reason why I limit is because if it works for 2, it works for 300, right? That's the context and the thought that we have in our mind. Because, and that's a thing that maybe beginners tend to skip, but it's very important. It's very frustrating to wait like 7 hours just to get, your automation working and to finish just to find out that you had an error. So it's a good practice to simply limit your dataset, make everything faster, and then test it. So now I tested to 2, which means 2 pages. And let's see if everything works properly or we need to change anything. Now we see that the website is being scraped. And now we saw that actually we have, and I want to zoom in right here, we have 80 items. I think it should be visible somehow. Yes, right here, which means that we got 40 items per page. Now, did we get the right emails? We're going to see it immediately. Actually, we can go right here and we see that all in travel at Hotmail. I don't know. I'm going to go to the number 2 and I'm going to go and scrape this. And perfect. All in travel. So that's perfect. Right? And we got all of our emails. So now the automation is done. What we need to do now is let's add these to a Google Sheet. I'm going to pin the data. The reason why I pin the data is because I don't want to rerun the whole workflow, but I can simply run the thing with the data already there so that I just know if the last part of the workflow works, which now is adding these data in here. And then if it does, I can execute the rest. I'm just going to go with append row in sheet, right? And once I append row in sheet, I'm going to go to from list. And scrape unlimited leads is the name that I gave to my thing. And the sheet is sheet 1. Okay. Emails, I want to put them in. Values to send. We just want to send the emails for now. Okay. And I am going to press execute step and see if it works. Perfect. I see that I started having all of my emails right here. So the only thing that's left for me to do right now, it's to delete everything and just make sure, maybe we can increase this to 3, that everything works as per expectation. And if everything is achieved and done properly, then we are good to go. Meaning that now we are going to execute the work. We have deleted the data, we execute the workflow. And we see that, okay, it runs, it spins. So number 2 is working, number 3 is working. Items total 120, 40 each. Items added 120. And if we go right here, we have 121 because we started from line 1. Perfect. So now our automation works. And if you want this automation, it will be accessible for free. You just need to go inside the first link that you see down below. It will bring you to my Skool community, classroom, tutorials, and then it will be probably inside n8n. I will make sure that it has the same title of the YouTube video. Great, so I hope you got a bit of value out of the video and you learned an alternative way of scraping the data. Specifically, if you are in a B2B business, sometimes it's very good because these industry directories are warmer than the list of leads that you generate with any API scraper or using LinkedIn and etc. Exactly because people really put their data inside because they want to cooperate with other businesses. So I really hope the video was valuable and you learned a new way of scraping data, which is for free, given the fact that we don't have any API calls to any AI tools. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next one.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.